Joining me on this broadcast is a very special guest, Hashim Vadyatyar. He's an Afghan political analyst based in Washington, D.C. Mr. Vadyatyar, thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. Let me straight away begin by asking you, what really transpired in the UNSC? You've had the Afghanistan representative essentially saying that targeted killings are going on. There was some sort of an SOS calling. You have had the Afghanistan representative essentially seeking for international help at this point in time. You as an analyst, do you believe that it is high time that once again the international community needs to come together and ensure that Taliban is not recognized?
First of all, it is very bad names for the international community and a failure for the intelligence of international community and international forces in Afghanistan that everything collapsed within a few days. The 20 years investments of blood and treasure in Afghanistan, everything suddenly collapsed. That is the failure of international community. The Afghan president has not resigned, despite he's not in Afghanistan. The government is collapsed, and the Taliban are not recognized by the international community. There are so many retaliations, revenge reports it from every corner of Afghanistan. It is absolutely chaos and upheavals in Afghanistan. And the reason is that the governance in Afghanistan, managing a divided nation that's further divided now, these are very heavy responsibilities for the Taliban. The Taliban does not have the abilities to pick up these responsibilities. The Taliban has a lot of responsibilities now. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Make your point, and then I'll ask you the second question.
Well, that is what I wanted to say. The Taliban are now have a lot of responsibilities, and unfortunately cannot fulfill the responsibility because they do not have the abilities, they do not have the capabilities running the engine of governance, politics of Afghanistan or a country, managing different fields and spheres of a country and working with the complicated region and working with the complicated, unbalanced world, contemporary world. It is very, very difficult job for the Taliban, and they cannot do that. It is something that you hand over a helicopter to a carpenter to fly.
That's a very strong point, handing over a helicopter to a carpenter. Hashim, let me then ask you this question. You are in Washington, and we are also getting in some breaking news right now that the US president would essentially be addressing in a short while from now as far as the situation in Afghanistan is concerned. But someone who's closely followed every development, do you feel that as a citizen of Afghanistan, you're disappointed with the way United States of America made several promises, over promises, and yet another time that you've had the USA under-delivering? And look at the images that came in from the Kabul International Airport today. People clinging onto the US military aircraft. It's unprecedented images.
It gives a number of messages. Message number one is that the Afghans who supported the US mission in Afghanistan, but unfortunately the United States did not support it and help those Afghans who supported the American mission in Afghanistan. So in the future, in any other countries, I do not think that a lot of people will want to help the American mission in those countries because this is a global phenomenon and what's happening in Afghanistan. That's number one. Number two, the assessment that the United States, the White House, and the National Security Council of the United States had, those were not right assessments because their assessments were wrong because they didn't think that this would happen. the intelligence community's assessments were also incorrect, that the Taliban would this speedily gain the power and everything will be collapsed. Another very important thing is that if the United States really wanted to withdraw from Afghanistan, there were much better times in the past for the United States to withdraw rather than to withdraw now. 2009, 2010, 11, 12, all the way till 2015, they were all the right times for the United States to withdraw because Taliban were not stronger as they were yesterday and last year. The Afghan government was much stronger than the Taliban. That the Taliban received international recognition when the United States signed a withdrawal agreement, not a peace agreement with the Taliban.
Right.
So if the United States wanted to withdraw, there were much better times in the past than now.
One final question, Hashim, before I let you go. What perhaps could be the way forward? Because somewhere down the line, there is a section. You've had countries like China, you've had Iran now suddenly trying to support the Taliban government. Russia, to a great extent, have also now come forward, said that there is some sort of an arrangement that has been doing the rounds. But do you think that's the way forward? Can the international community really support the Taliban, the very force that was being fought for over 20 years?
While you see all these images that you now show in this TV, do you think the international community will recognize the Taliban? No way. Nobody will recognize the Taliban. No way. That's not possible. That's number one. Number
बीजेपी संसदीय दल की बैठक में जन आशीर्वाद यात्रा
और सीधे लिए चलते हैं आपको अफगानिस्तान संकट पर संयुक्त
Everyone is concerned about the increasing violations of the fundamental rights of the Afghan citizens. Afghans are worried about whether their right to live with dignity would be respected. There are many unanswered questions. We hope that the situation stabilizes soon and the parties concerned address the humanitarian and security issues. We also hope that there is an inclusive dispensation which represents all sections of Afghan society. Voices of Afghan women, aspirations of Afghan children, and the rights of minorities must be respected. A broader representation would help the arrangement gain more acceptability and legitimacy. The current situation in Afghanistan has numerous challenges. However, there are a few opportunities. If there is a zero tolerance for terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, and it is ensured that the territory of Afghanistan is not used by terrorist groups to threaten or attack any other country, then Afghanistan